on, or is he just as a picture?
I believe he's there. He might be a little tired. He had to go and get some coffee and only got a couple
JF
hours
is
sleep.
here.
Okay, so
I know, I can see the picture.
Oh yes, I am here. Just
There we
put my
go.
headset up. Yes, I'm
Thank you
Mr.
very
Cash.
much for all your hard work. Thank you very much indeed.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Pleasure.
okay,
Thank you very much, all of you.
we're on live stream now,
JF is here.
and we have echoing. You have to turn off the audio in the live stream.
Thank you very much. It's a nice work.
Sorry.
You have to turn off the audio in the live stream. We
You
have
got
echo
your
there.
sound on in the live stream, is that right? I heard the echo. Rick,
Yes,
we can't hear you. So if you're talking, Rick, we can't hear you.
You cannot hear me right now.
Hello. We're lost in the space again, I think.
No, Mr. Cash, we're not lost in space. We're just live on live stream, and we can't hear Rick. So, Rick, can you check your
What do you mean you can't?
Skype preferences, please, and make sure that your microphone is set to your proper microphone.
Okay.
Is he talking on the live stream?
I think so.
Okay. Yes, you're right, Vince. Thank you for that. That was the advice I needed there because I had switched it to try it. Okay, so we're still stuck on the one channel,
great.
but at least we can begin. Sorry
We can
about
begin.
that.
You got no more problems, Rick?
No, there's a
okay
problem with two channels on one, but I'll just have to be quiet at this end and try not to interfere with the audio.
Oh, so you don't have the ability to mute, is that correct?
Yes, other than in the Skype call, but not on the live stream.
Right. So is that because your mic isn't coming through on the live stream? Like there's no audio
it's
preference
because
for your mic?
the speaker's audio and the microphone are coming through both on the microphone channel, and I can't get the speaker's audio to kick in.
Okay, well, as long as you got it to work, have we tested the sound on live stream? Does it sound okay?
Sounds okay on live stream? Yeah, sounds okay. That's the main thing for now, I guess. Okay, can I start the workshop? Are we ready? Okay, let's give it a try. Okay, welcome everybody to the 53rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on March 13th. And we've had a bit of trouble getting things...
Can you just hold on one moment, Rick?
Like I said, we've had a bit of trouble.
That was just a little bit quick, and my recording wasn't working.
Yes, well...
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
It should really be Friday today. That would complete the scene, but it's Thursday the 13th. In any case, we're having a bit of audio trouble, but we're going to try to carry on. And welcome to the workshop. Today, depending on how things go, we could have some nice surprises. We've got, I'm supposed to remind Mr. Kesh that he's going to talk a bit about leadership, or perhaps the, oh, it's the 12th. Okay, I thought.
Yeah, I was just.
I'm sorry. So it is going to be Friday the 13th, but not today. I thought it was Wednesday the 12th here, and it just changed, but it's Wednesday the 11th. Okay, in any case, we will carry on. Yeah, I was going to remind you, Mr. Cash, that you wanted to be reminded about leadership, or the leaders of the world was something that you might like to talk about today. But otherwise, what would you like to discuss, Mr. Cash?
Good morning, good day, good evening, wherever you are as usual, and what time you listen to, and wherever you listen. Today we try to at least start going into the other people's workshops and labs to learn more from what they are doing. And this morning I received a picture from Evans from the from China. They are trying to develop a three-dimensional maglev system, magnetical gravitational system. And it would be nice if we start this session with him. I know, as what he says in his link, there is a copy or there's another one in Canada of this same system. This is what we need. That's why I said we, as a Keshe Foundation, groups around the field system. Now you see it even in its three-legged sock spread stand. Very ingenious. Sohail and Evans understood what we needed, understood the challenge, and I'm here with collaboration with scientists in Canada and other places is getting done. We are developing something very similar here in Italy, different electronics, and that is still part of the Keshe Foundation structure. It'll be nice to see this as one of the very first instruments which is getting developed for a new technology. The importance of this system is that more elaborate monogans system like this is still in electron level, not in a GANS level. They have, I explained to them when they're here in a couple of weeks, how they have to change it to make it a GANS level than a array level, magnetic field level. These will be the instruments which warn us and tell us where we are going, where we are destining for, and what we're going across. What we go across in the space. Sorry about this. With the instruments like this, we will assess our environment. The field strength, if we are getting gravitated to or we are getting pushed away from. More elaborate number of these in a combined system will be the life-saving. It's very much the radars of the future, but in a plasmatic, three-dimensional. I have to again emphasize on these instruments have to move away from electron movement in the plasmatic movement direction. And we will see that. I think Evans explained to us in detail what they're doing, that maybe other people around the world can develop it and allow the other scientists to be able to use the same. Evans, would you like to enlighten us?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Keshe, and good morning, everyone. Before we understood the needs, and then we are dedicated to take it at the next level, at the right level. But before we go any further, I would let GF talk about his baby, because it's his baby. He's been working on it for at least 1 year, and we are at the point right now that we can collaborate to bring this system at the next level. So GF, please.
Yes, what do you want exactly speak about?
Yeah, explain a bit the system, what it does, how long you've been working on the system, and at which point we are today, and what's coming up. Like today, we are using
that coming through? Is that coming through?
We hear your click, but his voice is muffled to the maximum.
Is that coming through?
It's
no sound. Okay, we're having. Sorry, we're having an issue on the live stream. Apparently, people are saying the live stream audio is not coming through. I think it's coming through for me right now on my microphone, but even though it shows here, it doesn't seem to be working for coming through. I'm not clear how to proceed here. We can hear it in the background there. It was. Oh. Okay. Vince. I plugged in my headphones. Maybe that had something to do with it.
It's back up again.
Okay, well, maybe that'll work without plugging in the headphones. Then normally I have to plug in the headphones or I get an echo. So I unplugged the headphones. Let's try that. Okay, do some voice testing there from the Skype.
It says it's okay now.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, let's. Okay, Guy's giving me the thumbs up with the delay in the live stream here, so let's carry on.
Looks good. I was listening there.
Good, thank you. Let's carry on.
I think JF and Evans have to start again from the beginning.
That would probably be a good idea. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I think Evans, you go ahead and let's see what happens, and then we follow with Jeff.
Hi, thank you, Mr. Cash, and good morning or good day, everyone. Yes, we did at Omega Quantum understand the needs for systems, so measurement systems, and when GF presented us this system, we thought that it would be a good idea for us to take it at the next level and put it, make it available for all the Cash Foundation members. So before we go any further, I would let GF present his baby. It's because it's his baby. He's been working on it for at least 1 year now, and then we start collaborating on that system that we will add to the reactors and the motor support and all the necessary pieces, equipment to build reactors and star system and so on. So please, GF.
Okay. Yes, like I said just before, this is in fact a system that I try to take a different way of using a different kind of sensor and putting all of the kind of sensor inside one processor to be able to create a mapping of the data. So in that case, we for the first step, I'm using for now I use 3, but we have build a system to be able to use about 16 3D magnetic sensors or different other kind of sensor like a accelerometer or a gravitymeter, like I've read in last plasma group. I miss it, but
yes,
I have heard about that.
Yes, I suggested by Rick actually.
Yes, exactly. So this is it. It's a simple system that we build to be able to adapt it for our need. So I don't have I don't know where exactly I have to explain it for you.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say that's. I think that's okay. There might be some questions, maybe at some point.
I was going to suggest I could zero in on each component here. Maybe you could just briefly discuss it. Is that possible?
Okay, you mean
so like on the left side of the picture on the live stream.
Okay, sorry, I don't have the.
We have
Evans, did you see it? I don't have my live stream open, sorry.
Okay, well I can just...
Evans, can you comment on it? Or is it about the picture of the setup of Evans?
Yes, right. Maybe
I opened it live stream, so...
Okay,
maybe.
Just keep the audio down, the live stream. Or off, better.
Okay, I see. Okay, this is just a microprocessor. In that case, it's a ST microprocessor. They have many kind we can use, but it's just a simple one, very accessible to and doing. It's a simple system for doing just the basic thing that we need for be able to reproduce it easily with. So
it's got a USB plug in it there. That
for now we use serial communication between this module and PC, but we can adapt it so that can be very versatile.
Is the USB connection just for the power, or is that for data as well then?
Yes, it's for the USB in that case is used for power the microprocessor, but in the same way to communicate with it for update the processor's data. But we have another USB port that we don't see. It's one of the two cable that we see on the right.
Okay,
yeah. So one of them is the serial part. It's the part that transfer the data to the PC, and the other one is the cable.
That'll be the blue wire with the Ethernet cable attached to it, basically. Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, but I have in the past developed an Ethernet version of it. But for speeding up the data, now using...
maybe it is a USB. It looked like a...
yes, this is the UART converter, USB UART converter.
Okay, good. And then, so there's a couple of little converter boxes that are on the wires there and so on. And then, then the sensor unit itself would be at the top on the tripod, right?
Yes, exactly. They have... I think Evans have two or three. In that case, it's just one. But they are all using that same cable for now. So.
And you have a capability of adding how many sensors? And
for now, for the hardware, actually, I can add 16 sensor, but I have not yet tested it. I have used it with 10 sensor, but no more. So.
Oh yeah, and if you had multiple streams, say magnetic sensors and gravity sensors and visual sensors or whatever, spectrum sensors, say you had those three types of sensors, you're still limited to 16 total sensors, and can you handle running all three of those types of sensors at the same time?
Yeah, in fact, that's all depend on the processor we use for now. So we can adapt it. Like I said, we can use many processor in parallel, for example, of using just a bigger one.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So the system seems to be quite versatile, and
yes, that's the goal of it, to be able to adapt it and develop sensors and using the new sensor with that processor or other kind of processor.
And it's more or less an open source software system. Is that true?
Yes, that's the way for now.
But you've made it customized. You've customized the software to make it specific for our purposes.
For now, it's an experimental software, so we need to do testing. It's a time issue again. Many projects running, so.
Great, nice. Okay, is there any other questions about that?
Just like to add something. The picture that you're looking at right now is modular, and one will understand that we're still at testing mode. Even it's running, and then we can grab the data and it's up and running. But the whole system can be packed into a little box once everything is done. When we complete the first stage, there are going to be many improvements, and our goal is now to provide at least the basic functionalities so everyone can have access to it, and then get it to more development.
Okay, go ahead.
How are you going to measure plasmatic fields? Do you have that kind of sensors that can sense the plasmatic fields?
No, for now we just have a magnetic field sensor. That's why we have to do. We know a way that Mr. Cash talked about to use two, I don't know how to say, face-to-face, or to measure the magnetic and gravitational. It's a way to try to, but now we know it's a simple magnet, like what you have on the institute. So it's exactly the same kind of sensor for that at that stage for now.
No, actually, we have to create new ones.
Yes, exactly. That's what I said. For now, that's not the new one kind of sensor but we have to. That's
yes, and actually, because we will have different kind of sensors, so in the future we might be able to synthesize a complete sensor that respond specifically to the plasma. That's our hope.
Look, can I maybe add something to this, because this is what we are doing here in Italy. I've seen the new version of it. You have to look in your sensors. It's come by experience, by actually testing it further. Instead of using field detectors, we have to start using gas detectors. Instead of reading the measurement from a field, we have to create a condition where the changes detected by gravitational magnetic field is read. Then having it, what we call the systems we have or what you have, looking at 3 dimensions.
Mr. Cash, what about this suggestion I had of using inertial or gravity type sensor, which they have very
at the
sensitive.
moment you use all electrons, and in the highest speed travel, electron is too small, too slow, far too slow. So this is what we are doing here in the development. I've already discussed it. That's why I said we have to allow different systems grow according to what the technology allows us, and somewhere down the line in the next few months to merge them to find a new new structure for measurement. Systems we have now here are sensors, are directional field. The sensors which we will test, and it's been tested once in the past few weeks, is we use a GANS material as a sensor. And we transmit through the GANS and we receive through the GANS. In the next few weeks, once we land in very full time, these developments will be very fast. So we are not looking for radiation. We are not looking for field change. We are looking for GANS change. This is a primarily what is sitting. There is a conversion to be done. Partially, you can look into work of Tesla. Tesla understood part of the process. So we will be using what we're planning to do is what do you call it? To measure the balance between the magnetical and gravitational, and at the same time measure field as a totality, three-dimensional. Just 1 second, please.
Okay, any other comments? Oh, never mind.
Sorry about that. I'm back. I just had to keep the mascot out. So what happened is that you have to look in a way, once you set up the program, the software, the way you are doing, then we bring in a new dimension in measurement. It has to be. It's very much like the way you feel heat, the way you feel emotions. One of the processes we are doing is it will be more in depth in coming time. We'll show it. I just received a call a few minutes ago that one of the European governments has asked for a meeting in respect to this kind of testing and energy production. And we should meet with them in the coming week or so. It's just coincidentally just come in just between while we're waiting for Rick to set up his system. The process is that it's okay, we are looking at the rays. Start replacing where you have the ray detectors with the GANS detectors, or substitute it with a drop of GANS. It's very simple. You can do it. We've done it here. We've seen the work. It's just it's a further expansion on the knowledge in the coming weeks once we start working. But the detectors you're working, this is the basic. It's beautiful what you've done. We are using it here because that's where the knowledge of man is at the moment. But now we have to be able to detect the same as a GANS. One of the ways which I started with this, and we are working on now here, is with that little setup we showed last week in the lab, where we are adding current to the plasma to pressurize the GANS, that we can feel the different measurements in different points of the center line or the tube or the other side. This system is a prelude system to the three-dimensional detector. But here it's need for Armand and Marco to understand what it is, how it is, and how it's measured. We change the current, we measure the voltages in different points, what changes. Then we have to understand what each reading is. And then once we mature it here, will pass it on to you as a detection system base to add to your electronics. Yes, this is exactly what it is. What it'll be is the very small system like this, which in the center you can detect both gravitational magnetic field, or if you want to convert it back into electron vibration, which is too slow. The development has to be hand in hand. We need other scientists to start looking in plasmatic connections than wire connections. We need to build up screens which are three-dimensional plasmatic, not the present plasma screens we see in the market. There are maybe the grandfathers of what it to be. But in your detectors, you should look while you do the programs in a field detection through essence of plasma, not the electron. By the time the electron gives you the message, you're already a few million kilometers down the road. So at higher speeds, you need live data, and this is one of the setups I see that I envisage that is the beginning of the change. If you change that copper line in the middle to a tube, transparent tube all the way, then a copper, then you see the field directly from the environment. Then, because the plastic can be nano-coated, so you put your GaNs inside and you create another GaNs dimension inside. The best type of this will be a spherical. Harman is looking into making a spherical system like this, but the plastic systems which we have seen in the setup which Marco put up, those small plastics with the center core detectors, which again, going back to the suggestion we had last week from one of the participants, to have an internal GaNs instead of a copper nano-coated, then we get a good detection both for magnetical and gravitation. This is where we have to head in or head to.
Absolutely. And I would add something for everybody's comprehension. So this system is acquiring data, and we need to think about two steps. The first step is acquiring data, which is the parameters and the values, and the second step is the processing of those data.
Yes, I think that sits together. I'm illiterate in this kind of electronic and electrons, and in a way, I think we even have to change the word of electrons to plasmatic systems, because
yes,
electron is too slow in this system. We have to create a plasmatic system
absolutely.
where we walk away from this electron movement.
Yes.
Electronics will take too long. The vibration is too slow.
Mm-hmm. And once we get this data, they have to be processed, right? They have to be processed such a way, analyzed, and all kind of processing to get the result, the expected results.
Yeah, this is where we have one of our knowledge seekers who is accepted in the Institute of the Master Degree. He is specialized in gravitational system. He's a doctorate professor in that field. And we have to listen to them to bring their knowledge to add. They join in as students, but at the same time they're masters who can, in collaboration, explain to you what they see, how they see. Because this scientist has already achieved left levitation through the systems he's developed. And he has seen the next step is through the systems we developed. And that's why he's joining the foundation in this manner. Extremely talented, extremely high-value scientist. So we have to add your knowledge, JF knowledge, and other scientists like you and engineers, and them to bring a unified system out. It'll take us about a year, I think. In a year time, we'll have a system that most of us are happy to work with. but very system very much like Armin has put here, because we looked at the spherical one. The system got it in his hand. He was playing with it, how it's going to do it. Maybe the plastic ones which are nano-coated, and again going back to the participants of the last week, into density gases, what you can measure the field flow in and you can measure the field flow out. Then you have your gravitational and magnetical, and then you can change it, and from the data you get, you change the plasmatic flow in your reactor, which you increase your gravitational field or you increase your magnetical field. It'll take us about a year or two as a collective, as a human race in different parts of the world with different knowledges to bring this together. The lifting and moving of the system, as we've seen on the floor in the lab, has a problem, because at the moment we've seen with, I think most of you who've been observing the live stream, we had a system which is like a feather, and then after a while it becomes heavy like a ton. We can't even move it, but it's still moving on the ground of the lab. We haven't switched it off yet to move. Sometime next week, most probably I'll do it. But we need a measurement tool to see what's happening in that plasma. Is it gravitational? Which reactor is adding more to create a gravitational? Or is the top reactor putting too much pressure, lowering the level of the free plasma into the center of the three cores on the base? There is a video in the promotion video of the institute, which is going to be released in the coming time. We've seen the video where the three base reactors field goes up and it goes to the center when the fourth one comes on top and it creates a free plasma condition. But if you increase the gravitational field in the top reactor, what's going to happen? It pushes or it pulls the free plasma towards it, away from the base, and it dictates the change of direction. I think these systems can be made to a pinhead size very quickly. You need it to be in that size to be operational. So yes, no, the other one you show the system which is on the promotion, which field moves from the base up. This free plasma, we need to have a detection system, at least 4 or 5 in each direction for each plasma, for each reactor, to see how they spread the field out, and to see for each reactor how it's interacting with the other reactors, and then how they're reacting in respect to the free reactor. If you put a non-coated electrode in the way you have, then you disturb the plasma. But if you put a plasmatic detector in this process in between the cores, you are part of it. You do not affect it, but you measure it. The game of the measurement has changed, but we need to go through what you are doing, which is very beautiful. I congratulate both of you as 2 teams in different parts of the world collaborating. And I'm sure you will see more people coming in to add to the knowledge in different ways. But you have to start looking in the GANS detectors once you establish it on your electron readings. Then understand how your system has to change to the GANS level. You don't need that much electronics. What you have to very much start working on is the conversion of the colors into language. Because on the GANS state, different pressures manifest themselves in different colors than the current flow. The current flow you have is a plasmatic current. And at the moment we are measuring everything through electronics, electron vibration. The next step, once we achieve it, the system works, then we have to modify it step by step backwards to process this, then the data in a GANS and in a MAGRAP style. we're not very far away. Your lot going is so fast. It's amazing how you're achieving different things, and I congratulate all of you. We try to add. We have one of the most brilliant people in the electronics as a collaborator with me directly in the foundation with Professor Lutzi. He's a genius in these things, and we should see a lot of developments from here in Italy, in the university, and in our setups in Albania, in China, and other parts of the world. We have extremely talented people around the world, and we will deliver it. As you know, Professor Lutz has been part of the Apple Group, original Apple Group, so he is genius in these things. He's like you, he builds every system by hand, one by one. And we translate the knowledge of the plasma into electronic computers. We are very, very successful at the moment with it, and we'll see where we go as a foundation and institute. Any questions? Or can we add to the knowledge collectively, see where we can take this detector?
I have a question, quite formulated.
Hello?
I have
Mr. Kesh,
Go
can
ahead.
it be half spherical?
Yes, you can be, of course. Armand, you can come up with anything, it still works. The position is how we detect it and what we want to detect. Half spherical, as you've seen with your reactor, what I call, as you know, I salute it all the time. That reactor is a half reactor, but it still receives fields from underneath. So you have to take in consideration of the loss. One of the things in the long-term measurements you have to calculate is how you position your north and south in respect to any reactor, any core. You have to go back to the basic plasma technology that how you position your reactor north and south exit or entry of the field will give you different numbers. So you have to make sure you're measuring everything in the direction of the flow, not in the what I call physical positioning of the system which you have in hand.
But if the system is spherical, so it's 360 degrees, correct?
No, but still you have an exit point and you have an entry point.
Yes, correct.
Don't forget your plasma, if it is dynamic, is due to the rotation of the field, you create the what I call polarities. Mm-hmm. So if in one sense you're measuring your system is set up that is looking at the south and the north, and then the other one is looking in the north and the south. Mm-hmm. And always remember in the back of your mind, and the people who go into this development, that one of the reasons you have to do this is, first of all, you have to remember to measure the amount of the GaNs in your core, because according to what amount of GaNs you have in your core, you add fields to the exit. The flow of the fields in a plasma from entry to exit is due to the favorite word of Markov, gradients of gravitational magnetic field. The field enters in the south or entry point of your detector. By the time it leaves the detector from the exit pole, it has gained energy in the gravitational magnetic field not only from environment directional flow which you're detecting, plus the fields which are released by the ganses in the detector.
Okay.
So it is an error point you have to add or to adjust. So if you're making a reactor that uses copper oxide of a slightly different composition, and the other one uses a copper oxide plus CO2, you will find different figures from the same point.
Yes.
This is one of the needs that to have a specific exact measurement. We have to develop GANS material measuring weight system. People around the foundation who are expert with these weighing measures or electronic measurements, we need to be able to have, or at least be able to adjust the system to zero that they're all considered to be the same.
Even put the same amount of GANs.
Yes, because don't forget, we do not know how many. A drop of GANs carries hundreds of thousands of GANSes.
Correct.
So if you have 1 million in one and 1,010,000 in the other one, the field release is not the same. And we don't have the tools at the moment. There are tools in nanotechnology and in biochemistry labs, which can measure atom by atom, which these have to be changed to measuring magnetic field gas by gas, and then we say, okay, and even then, all the gases don't emit the same field at the same time. Then you try to go to Zeus, you end up in this.
Yeah, not even from same material.
Not even from the same material. You've seen it here.
Yes.
So when you build these detectors, once you go through this stage of building the first electronic, which is wonderful, it's beautiful what you've done and what you're trying to do, have in the back of your mind the next step is a gas detector and all the parameters with it which goes with it. The structure is correct, what you're doing is correct, but you have to move now in the hardware into the GANs hardware, not into the electronic hardware.
I have a question about that, Mr. Kesh. In some detectors, they use like a rotating device or a rotating field in order to sense the gravity field in any space. Is it necessary or possible that a rotating GANs field should be used to detect the rotating GANs field?
Yes, why not? Why not?
But then how are you going to transmit?
Pardon?
How are you going to transmit?
You transmit in a spherical pattern. A sphere. The only way you can make plasmatic flow directional is when you make the channels for it. It's very much like a runway. You know, when you land on the runway, you have a light which directs you, this is the way you want to go. You have to build systems which speed up and flows through. In a way you make it, you know, there used to be a old movie like a time machine. It's spheres, circles come together.
Yes.
And the guy used to jump in and out of it.
Yes.
You have to make a funneling system that you can speed up and put in that direction. These are teach you in the time coming. This is very easy to make. You use different current flow in your accelerator and you change. You don't want to send a message to planet Zeus where everybody else can hear it. So you can directional your plasma flow, and this is the way you directional your motion in your space reactors. If I show you everything from the beginning, you give up. So this way we're going little by little, and everybody comes. It doesn't show everything because look, now you realize if you can fly, you don't know how to control it, you don't know how to measure it. The problem is more. Even the countries who have achieved it, They are living with the electronic system. And that's why they have problem in showing it through UFO. They are living between the schizophrenic of material control, matter control, and plasma control. And some like the Russians and the Iranians have managed to cross that. But the whole structure is start developing. Now you're doing the electronic, at the same time have in the back of the mind that you have to develop what you call GAN systems. Then you find out you don't need so much electronics because the GAN system adjust themselves accordingly. It depends how you influence them. There should be no difference between the control system of a flying system and a solar system. We don't see wire control. We don't see somebody controlling the speed of the rotation and the field of the Earth in respect to the sun. You have to learn to start playing, and then you see you can control very easily. Galaxies control their planetary system the same way. But with the man and the systems development, you should be able to do it, and then it goes back to the essence of bringing why we teach the health, the medical, the agriculture, material, space and energy together. You've seen in a very simple way what we did with Marco and Armin, giving them 2 spheres and sending them home to control the reactor. No attachment was put to the brain of the Marco, or nothing was attached to the back of Armin. You have to start understanding state of the change of mind of control. Bear in mind, fortunately or unfortunately, I was trained as a system controller for the nuclear reactors. I can explain to you how to build the systems, but then it becomes a replication. System control of a nuclear reactor and these space reactors is exactly the same. One of the reasons I could not agree with the nuclear industry, and I still don't agree, is they do not understand the capacity, the structure of the motion of the plasma of the neutrons. If you understand this, then controlling a nuclear reactor and controlling a spaceship is exactly the same. You do the same thing with your mind. You feel like you want a banana. You don't type to your physical body, move to the right, move to the shop, do this. You send the information from the emotional side to the physical body that I need a banana, or I'd like to have a banana. The physicality with the remote control moves in, picks a banana, feeds a banana in the direction of the motion where the banana is, be it on the table or be it in the shop. These look to understand, to build the systems the way you've done. Once you've completed it and you're happy with it, we have the same system here. Start looking at the structure of your own body. Then building system controls, computerized system controls, for GANs becomes a child's play. Control is not to dictate. Control is to understand the need. This is a big difference. It's one of the first things I teach to when I accept people as a system controllers, because I used to teach other people around the world to become system controllers, because you have to be a special breed. Is you have to understand the need, not what you want to do with the system. If you understand the need, you understand the position of the need, if you understand how the control comes. The control comes in satisfying a need, in predicting the need, and being by predicting, creating the condition that the need is satisfied. People who work as a system controllers in nuclear reactors are very much geniuses, because there are very few who understand the totality. Then they don't look at the structure of what is in the fuel. They look at the structure of the water, they look at the structure of the pressure, they look at the structure of the containment, they look at the structure of the building, they look at the structure, what comes into the building and what goes out of the building. This is one of the problems we see with a lot of systems like what happened in Fukushima. People with a part of the knowledge try to influence the totality in the way they see it, but they don't understand the whole structure. In 1990s, there were 5 or 6 nuclear reactor controllers, system controllers in the world, and most of us have died. 2 or 3 left. A couple of Russian guys are still alive. Because when you become a system controller, when you build a system like this to measure and control, you have to look at the totality of the system. You build for one point, then look in the reactor. What happens if the guy crosses between the reactors? What happens if the cleaning lady is cleaning the floor when the reactor is running? The plasma of her body will add into the system. Then you go into Zeus, you go to this. It's the change of understanding. The game is still the same. Now you work with much more powerful, much more sensitive, much easier. That's why your sphericals detect, gives you the whole information from the whole direction. You have to make it directional, but make it spherical. Once you achieve measuring your fields, start. I know in China you have ordered a lot of these plastic reactors. Start using, to begin with, to fill them up with a GANs and different gases. Try to be as much as possible, you could be precise in the amount, and see what fields you detect from the GANs. And then do what we do with the setup here. We can go very slowly, but we can go from the beginning in a correct way, and then we establish a new thing. Look at what happens in the environment of the room. When you put these detectors down, look at not the direction of flow. If you can make a sealed composition, that you look at the effect of if you're running another system, if there is if it's the sun, if you do the test in the evening. When you do tests, always, especially wherever you do the test, make note of the time. Because even though you are in a room, the same furniture and the same guys, Earth's gravitational magnetic field in respect to Sun's gravitational magnetic fields has a huge effect on your measurements. Huge effect. So when you do test, always measure the time, measure the season, record the seasons. Winter, summer, and spring has a meaning in the gravitational field detection. When you make data, Armin knows in the lab with Marco, I say even with this setup which is on the screen, was on the screen, you measure same time, try to measure at the same time every day, around the evening about the same time. Because it's important. They don't understand why, but this is the reason. Because through the test before, and you've seen it, we've shown it with a spherical detection system with some 30 odd pins in it, how the field changes. Maybe if it's hard for you to produce a GAN system, produce a nanolayer, powder nanolayer, not a solid nanolayer. What the powder means, it means time. When you coated it, leave it for a few days, let it grow to a powder, it becomes why it looks like powder, it's like a talcum powder, is because the GaNs materials, the nanomaterials try to become GaNs, but they still stay a sphere and attach themselves to it. So when you look at them, they're like a powder. These are one of the best things to start making. If you can't use the GaNs, you don't understand how to measure it, to measure through these. You have done this, it's not very far-fetched. You've done this with a Coca-Cola bottle. You measure the electric power outside, where inside was nano-coded GaNs. So bring that knowledge to your detectors. And then go to the next step with the GaNs. You already know when you made the Coca-Cola bottles, if you measure the flow on the black part coated outside, you get a different voltage than when you touch the pair where you strip the copper off. One you measure AC, one you measure DC. A lot of people get problem with their measurement tools, the voltmeters and ammeters, because they go from one to the other without noticing, because they're just looking for energy. But you're changing a meter which is not used to AC flow to a DC, and then DC back to AC, and still your meter is on AC. I've destroyed a lot of meters like this. You don't know what's happening. It just jumps everywhere after a few days because you forget. But if you adjust your system, the way we done, if you go back to the picture of Arman's system, please, Rick, the one you had on the screen just now.
Yeah, it's coming up there. It'll be a few seconds in the live stream.
Yeah, the meter, the one with the resistor on it. We had it.
It's coming up just a sec.
You had it a few seconds ago, a few minutes ago. You had a picture on from the lab here. Yes.
Yeah, it's coming.
If you look at the left of this and at the right of the system, if you look, there is a connection on the left in the copper. And now when we do the measure, this is the old way. But if you had the new pictures, Arman has put a spring-like nano-coated. We measured the electricity, what call it, magna flow on the coated part. You have to convert information and the flow according to what it is. Here, if you look, it just happens by accident. You see just before where the sugar is, on the left-hand side, you see the copper. We stripped it. It does not touch the nano coating. Because there, you get the AC. On the lining, you get the DC. And even in our measurements, we always make a mistake. We never go to check the AC flow. We look at the DC current. So if you build a system that flows through nano layers, plasmatic, then you can measure a plasmatic flow in the cylinder inside. This system has a flow with it, but it's in the way what we were trying to understand. Because here you have on two ends, which is nano-coated with the GaNs inside, and the outside is a matter. We are not really measuring the field of the GaNs. We are trying to measure the field inside between GaNs. A coil, which is nano-layered, nano layer of GaNs, and the nano-coated layer of a copper in the center. And when you see the data, it's everything Marco and Arman have numbered on the plate. We measure every point. When we finished, then we measure what increase in what current has produced what flow in which section. Has it increased the magnetical or gravitational? Because this system is magnetical gravitational system, and Arman and Marco have made, anyway, Arman has made it without realizing it. Because he puts the energy field in, and then what is emitted as a magnetical pressure as the nanolayers are released, is magnetical in respect to the center. And then when we measure the magnetical flow of the center in respect to the outside, then it gives us a very good detection system. But we can measure it as a current on the other end, AC, or a DC flow inside. The whole structure is here. We are still in a schizophrenic with this system. We work between the matter and the GANs. As you see, we're measuring the field on the matter side. On the other side, we measure the field on the matter, what comes in the center, that's from outside. So in the system, we have to understand, start building field detectors. In a coming time, in maybe 2 years, 2 or 3 years, when the knowledge expands further, you will create plasmatic systems which are total plasmatic without the matter restriction. Very much like a sun, very much like what do you call it? A beacon. These are very easy to make, but the knowledge you carry at the moment does not take you that far. So you literally measure the field within the plasma by the plasma itself. It's no good to keep on talking about how to make reactors. Now we're going to the next step. Now we have to speak about instruments. You made the GANs. It's like very much what we discussed in the Chinese and then in the Spanish and then in the health section this week. A lot of you only come to listen to this section. But from past few weeks, if you want to understand the whole structure of the working, you have to listen to the Chinese, to the Spanish, to the medical, then you start getting the grasp of it. Because we are not repeating what is being taught in the Spanish or in the Chinese. And if you go back to the Chinese session, where our friends in China showed us the transparent submerged system, that's the submerged system you have to go for. That kind of system is your detector. And then if you go back to the Spanish session, the way we spoke how to feed the plants without ever touching your glands through systems, this is your field detection. You cannot sit or in a way do one session to come on Thursdays, maybe you learn something. We don't spend time to go and repeat just because it's in English. Chinese have a right, the same as the Indians and the same as the Spanish, to discuss matters, and it's done there and it's spoken in English, you can learn from it. But a system like this, in a very simple way, transparent, with no, nano coating metal, was shown by our Chinese colleagues last week, which is submerged in the water. You need to extend it, then you can use it properly. We go more and more from now on into instrumentation, into development, into making systems for the health, for agriculture. And as I explained in the Chinese session, with our Mexican colleagues, the Keshe Foundation in the coming weeks will start marketing materials or systems or simple technologies that you can use the gases you collected or you're collecting. Listen to the Spanish, I explained it what it is. Listen to our Chinese session and you understand. There's not going to be, everything's going to be on Thursdays, and so we listen to it. Now you have to listen, and it's the way it's going to be taught in the institute. We allocated for nano, but in nano teaching at that time, nano goes to the medicine, nano goes to the space, nano goes to the material, how it's applied and how it can be done. then it becomes a second nature and you can relate and you can see. You have to start looking in instrumentation once you're happy with your data in electronic to go into the plasmatic condition. Go back and look at the technology, the basis of it in a very simple way, but in one directional, start with the work of the beautiful work Tesla did. And a lot of people don't and cannot replicate the work of Tesla because Tesla was half schizophrenic between plasma and matter. And he could not distinguish the one. He was missing the gravity. But he's done a lot of work. I have a lot of respect for his work. My respect for Edison is zero, but I have a lot of respect for inventors or scientists like Tesla. You have to go in a deep way to understand the thinking of the scientist, not what is written. And secondly, what he was thinking at the time when he wrote, even the patents were written. None of the scientists ever write their own patents. It's written for them and they have to agree because it's the way the man understood their work. You have to start understanding each one of you in a different way and then collectively the way now we see with Evans and JF and the others around the world to start collaborating to build it. With the university, it will be the same. This reactor we see from our Chinese friend, it's a huge development, but none of you can see it. This is a huge step. We see in the Chinese, I adore the way the Chinese community is working with the technology. Everybody said Chinese are replicators and then they just copy. They never understood. They understand the replication and always make it better. I have a lot of respect for the Chinese. I've had it for years for the way they work, they think, and they develop things. This, if you understand this is what Mark Armand said, can we make a half a sphere? It's in front of you. Transparent, nanocode the inside, nanocode the outside, put the GANs inside, measure the current flow through your electrodes. Again, nano-coded electrodes. You can miniaturize this to literally pinheads. I know a man who can replicate this in a very easy way. It's called Armand. He can miniaturize this into nothing in a very small direction. The whole structure is a start understanding the difference gravitational and magnetic flow between different materials in the gas state. You've seen in your transparent reactors how the copper oxide did not mix with CO2. So that should have taught you a lot how you can make a system. And a lot of you, all of you missed it. And I thought to myself, one day these guys will see it. The current flow, it is extremely important. The current flow between the layers of the plasma is extremely important. And somehow all of you missing it. You know, there is an old say, they say when you got it cheap and free, you don't appreciate it. And this is what has to change. You manage to produce the GANs and the rest very easy. Now you don't see how you can utilize it. And this is becoming part of your problem. Each matter has different current flow. Each matter layer, in respect to each other, has a potential difference flow. You do not find much potential difference in a given structure. which is made of the same elements. That's why in our measurements we see not much voltage, but we see a lot of current. We've seen it in work of Arman, we've seen it in work of, the reactors. We've seen the same in work of Evans in China. Magnetic gravitational field system adjusts their position. It'll be very interesting if you could mark a GANs or similar GANSes and then put them in one of these reactors. And you will see that they go to a given position, all of them. The given position is not by centrifuge. The given position is by gravitational magnetic field strength. And when you create a position, you have to create potential difference. You have to create a current flow. And at interface, you have a balance of gravitational magnetic field. Go back to the ring of Saturn. Why we have this stupid concept about black rings of ring of Saturn? I've explained this in the book number 4, in the paper called Ring of Saturn. Why do you get these black rings? I have explained this before. This black rings happens when there is a balance between different fields of different layers within the structure of the Saturn. You will see these black lines if you look deep enough between your copper oxide and your CO2 layers in your cores. This is the behavior of nanoplasma condition. You're used to seeing a nano layer to be black. In a balanced condition where you can create a balanced field in similar between two sides, there is no interaction, so there is no light emission. And when there is no light emission, it's darkness. This is how the ring of Saturns are created. You have the same thing between your layers in your reactors. You've seen it, but you're not aware of it because you just look, you say the gas is separate, the CO2 is separated from the copper oxide. At the point of interface, you have a black balance. In your system developments for detection, you have to place your system in these black spots. These are your point of reference because all the black spots across the ring are exactly the same potential difference because it's a zero balance. Then you can go between the top ring, CO2 and CH3. You can go between CO2 and CH3. You can add as many layers. These are the new development in the transistors and amplifiers of the future. In a GANS state, you use no electrons, just one drop of CO2 and then one drop of, let's say, aluminium O2 or whatever. Then you amplify, you increase the field where you put it, where you use at zero. Your detectors have to go that way. It's good you start with the system as it is, but within the next 12 months we should be able to be at this point. Totally GANS operated, totally plasmatic operated detector systems. Then we can fly. Because we've seen it. In the hanging basket, 11.16 weight kilogram. He went down to 10.6 and he built himself back up to 14. We have no clue, we are at the mercy of God. If we have a plasmatic system, our detectors cannot detect which way he was coming and what was influencing. If we had a GAN system, we could see why it's changed. As I explained before in the other workshops, and I explained this to Mark and Arman. Why do we get most of the movement at night in the lab? Why when we are not here? Because at night, our system is made of matter, as I explained, of this planet, so interacts when the field of the planet come up and the sun is not there. And that's why I said to you a few minutes ago, make sure when you measure all the time in the same time zone. Because at the moment you are affected by the condition of this planet. Or once you become advanced enough, you measure the field of the Earth at that point and you deduct it so you have a constant position. There is a lot to do, and this needs a lot of collaboration. And with the opening of the university, we bring the collaboration worldwide. But it's good to come from the knowledge seekers who know the technology and they can start teaching. The way JF understands and can do, the way Evan does, or Marco does, or our Chinese colleague does, we will run a 24 hours live lab condition in the coming weeks. If you're not afraid to share knowledge, we are there to share. You got to go back, even for people like Evans, even for JF, or people, even for us, people who work around, even with the Chinese. No one would have dared to show such a technology that working even 2 months ago, 6 months ago. We have made, as we said, the ethos of the working of this foundation. The work of the people are the same. We put no value for thoughts and knowledge, but we put a lot of value in how the knowledge we bring can serve humanity. This morning I wrote something to, I think it was Lisa, or to one of the chat rooms, about how we serve and what's the condition of it. If you've got it, you can paste it on the live stream or on the what do you call it, the Skype. This is the way it should be. You have no, look at the Chinese, they built something and they put it on. Nobody have done this up to them. This is what we say, knowledge of God has no value, has no patent. And what you receive as a gift is the knowledge of the creation. And you don't hesitate. Evans puts it on, and JF comes and explains what is that, and that's what it is. This is the way we will go, and there is no other way around it. But try in all your work, understand that the ultimate goal is working with GANS materials with plasmatic condition. A lot of time needed to understand little by little, but some people will jump, but they still don't understand and have no security that if this is the right way to jump. There is no need for jumping. It's just a matter of understanding how we can develop these technologies. And now, from now on, most of the emphasis will go on the systems and will go on development of detection systems. Because we made the reactors, we made the GANSes, we made the different kind of GANSes, and there's still different groups around the world are still developing different kind of GANSes or whatever. Okay, but we don't know if you have a monkey or we have a donkey. Now we have to go into the instrumentation. The world will look at the Keshe Foundation SSI around the world for heading this in this direction. You will set the standard. The way SSI was sent, let's say, for the measurements for the plasma and everything else has to come from this institute, and you are the leaders, you will be setting it. Most of you, like whatever we call coulombs or ohm and the rest, will carry your names into these systems because nobody has done it before. Because each measurement needs a measurement to understand what it is. Maybe we call it Evans plasma, or we call it JFs and the others. But now you start building these systems, try to have in the back of your mind that as you are educated on both sides of the fence, you don't want to go backwards. You have to go forwards, and you have to start building systems in the back of your mind. How and what happens if I use GANs? What about if I use nanomaterials? Do I need so much circuitry? Do I need the line of communication? Maybe I have to put two small reactors to get the same thing done, but constantly. This is important. This is, I think, Caron Lone has brought what I wrote down in 3 sections in the live stream. It leads, loving oneself is loving the others. And loving the others is loving the Creator. And thus loving the totality. So is with serving. Once your conduct is correct, then you serve yourself correct. Then you serve the others too the same. And then you serve your Creator correct. And then you serve the totality. This is how I do my work.
Lost sound here. Is everybody okay?
Yeah, no problem.
There's
But the
something.
thing is,
Okay.
we see the same thing today with Evans and JF. Sharing the knowledge this way is loving and serving unconditionally. They are not worried if somebody copies them or we use it. This is the way the foundation work will go. I think you'll be seeing one of the most disruptive technologies taught in the most disruptive way in the Institute. A lot of people will call it the chaos lectures, but it'll be a fantastic lectures. Where everybody has a say, everybody will be able to participate and share. You become the teachers of yourselves in the lecture rooms, not me. I'm just there to start the what I call the whistle for a football game. The ball is on the floor of the classroom. And we see this, we've seen how things like this come on the table. I explained to you something very interesting. Boeing has a project called Phantom project. And in that project, they do a lot of things. And part of the things they are trying to do is this. These kind of developments. That through these detection systems, actually it's headed by a Chinese guy. They were amazed how I know about their work, not knowing that people from inside Boeing tell us what they are doing because they wanted some help or they need to see where it goes. Putting these detectors in the long run becomes like a traffic light, creating fast track detection zones for corridors of transportation. The driver does not drive the car, but the system like this, which detects the field and gravitational and magnetic field of each car, identifies the car and knows the destination of the car where it wants to go to, be it on Earth or in space. Boeing calls it space corridors. They are trying to build measurement system and systems which very much like aeroplane corridors, that the planes travel within the corridors around the Earth. They're trying to set up systems like this to be able to detect that the cars all go in the same way and the one does, but it goes up a one-way traffic. There is a lot of application for what you're showing, but you have to understand, you have to improve it into a GANs level. Once you achieve current, once you achieve detection, you can detect. And start trying to change next to it a GAN system. How do you change it? Take a drop of CO2. Make sure from the beginning you have a pool of CO2, a large quantity of it. That for all the detectors you make, you have a standard level. And then measure the flow and measure the current as you do with the three-dimensional detectors you're building. And then with the next one, connect your system in the same way as we see with the Armand setup, with what we shown, with a given quantity of the CO2 and see what you measure. Then you can understand and translate between the two. But try to measure in the plasmatic level by the color, if you can. The way you have to do by color is very much the way we've seen again with the work where we mix the red blood with the copper oxide CO2. Color charting will become the language of the man. The voice is too slow to be heard. It's electronic. The eyesight is the speed of light. And if you train yourself enough, you can see speed of light beyond the speed of light as the amino acid. Somewhere in the brain of the man, there is a control system. If you go back into teaching of the medical side, I explain how in the body, when we have beautiful people, each one, when is in charge of the body, uses different color shade of the eye to look at the same environment. Try to understand how they work in the GANs level to do that. If you have an optics scientist who understands this, you will understand you can very easily detect colors and detect the speeds through the colors in the GANs level. As if you, I think it's in the Chinese or in the health teaching in the past couple of weeks, I talked about this. The nice people, the beautiful people, when they have 3 or 4 characters, or 3 different, not characters, individuals in the same body, each individual looks at the light differently than the other. Because that's how they confirm their existence. It's very much like having a twins, one with the blue eye, one with the brown eye. And if you ask them to look at the same color red, they see totally different color bandwidth, the same red. If the human brain can adjust so rapidly to change our color to detect, so we should be able to do it too. And the systems you have gives us that facility. Go and try to understand the work of the human body in detection of its environment. It's the best detector you can build. You have a detection system, we call it the brain inside, and then you have put different things, detectors. One for the sound, one for the light, one for the materials, and one for the gases. If you look at your own body, your detection system, which you are trying to build now, There's no difference between what you're building and your head. But you got so used to it that you don't understand it. There's a GANs material inside. We call it the brain. Condensed GANs. But different strength. As I said, use the same CO2 all the time. If you mix your CO2s from different boxes, you will find you have a current flow. That's what happens in your brain. When you get the MRI, if you are working in this kind of building detectors, go to the hospital, says, can I borrow or buy as many MRI pictures of the brain you can give me? Don't look at the structure as much, but look at the color of the brain. The slight deviation in different layers. That's how brain detects these informs and works so rapidly. These are the new systems you have to look for. Now that we're going into instrumentation, there's no use going bit by bit. Understand the totality. And if you look in all of the systems of the brain, that's why I went back to the mouth, to the nose, to the ears, to the eyes. And then you have the skin. These are all working as different level detection. What is in the sound level is detected by the ear. What is in the light level is detected by the eye. What is in the matter level is detected by the mouth and the skin. And what is in the gas level, environmental level, is done by the nose. So in fact, your body is a detector. Your head is a detector system. What is detect and how it converts it to a GANs for the brain to work with it. You build a system for a matter state. You build the same system using the same brain structure in different layers for the noise. The other one for the light. People like in China who are working in Canada, if you start looking at this kind of things, and we are doing it, you will see the very strong electronic system here. But even our electronic system here will change into plasmatic very rapidly. You have to, if it's very hard, try to look at the structure of the working of your own head. Then you have the best detection system. It feels emotions, it feels the weather, it tastes the air, it looks in what is there by the field. If you look at it, a light which comes into you as a matter or a plasma, you still convert it back to the information which your system can detect, which is your brain. You've got to go into the space technology, the way the space works. You cannot go you cannot go mountain climbing with mini skirts and high heel shoes. Doesn't work. Even though I've seen people trying to do it. Horses for courses. You try to understand plasma from the beginning, try to work with GANs. You're trying to detect the sound of the plasma, understand how the brain of the man works. You try to understand the work of the conversion of the light to a GANs, look at your brain structure. It's been explained in the eye exactly how it's done. It was explained beautifully in the health section. Nobody could put it more perfectly the way it was done in the physical structure. Because the person who's teaching that part has understood the concept, even though has a problem in translating it fully yet. We've seen with Mike, He has put the things in. I know he's working in the background with Omega Group. Try to understand how you do it. We hear the process what Mike explained and showed in the system in a very aggressive way will be followed by the agriculture side. If you listen to the Spanish group, we will launch flower pots and the growing pots, which GANs never touches the material, but we absorb, we create condition that the GANs, you want to plant a strawberry, you change a different GANs because it needs a different strength. You want to create potatoes, in your tray you put a different GANs in the tray and you have you grow potatoes in no time. The production and the size of your potatoes will be 100 times faster than the normal. Do you need to water it? The condition will create it. What kind of amino acid you want the plant to create? The amino acid of the pig, horse, beetroot, a wheat or whatever. Because now, if you understand the totality, you have the knowledge. It's how you apply it. If you make the right mixture with the right combination to create, let's say, the structure of the GANs of the blood of, let's say, fish, you can create potatoes which have the protein of the fish, if you understand it, without the GANs even touching your potato. You make a double layer and you feed and you fix it there. The production of food in the space will be very much in that. Space is for the ones who are looking for physicality, choo-choo. Then you need these systems which you showed us to go in depth of measuring everything. If you make a mistake with your system, I want potato with chips, I get fish with carrots. Because now the knowledge of man with the things you're developing, now we're going into instrumentation, is there to create, to detect. By detecting, then you can dictate what the output is going to be the system developed can deliver. From now on, we need to go into instrumentation, into developing of the technology to detect, to be able to produce. And in a very simple way, you can teach to the man in Africa, in the jungles of Africa or Amazon, how to measure in a very simple way what is creating. He can't eat fish all the time, he'll have the lack of protein for other things in his body. How to change it slightly, 1 drop of this, 2 drop of that, to get in this container, today fish, tomorrow beef. The common denominator when you're trying to produce food for the man is a protein. This is how you tune to him what to absorb and what to reject and different kind of proteins. And systems like this you developed and you're developing from the beginning, instead of letting you go all the way in 6 months, oh, you made a mistake, you had to do this. No, from the beginning, you know the target. As a plasma gravitational magnetic fields organization, we have to create tools that we can show what we are doing, we understand what we are doing. Not blind leading the blind, still following the electronics. If you speak to a man who's never seen a car and he's used to a donkey, he'll never understand the operation of the car. To him, the donkey does the same thing. Why do you have to have something to have 4 wheels? But in fact, we change the wheels from 4 legs of the donkey. The process from now on has to be development of instruments. We have the fuel. We know how to make the fuel. We know how to make the systems with the star formation and the rest. Now we need instruments to be able to detect, to control, and to feedback. Then we see what radiations we absorb. Somebody has open line.
Rodmil is here. I have a quick suggestion.
Yes, Rodmil.
I don't know if you can see on live stream. Eric just published a picture of an electronic crystal, and the crystal is the thing which will detect the magnetic field and everything else and change the frequency of the crystal. So that's the perfect detector, I think, for what you need.
I'm going to go back into what you just said. Crystal is a matter state, and a frequency is a matter state. We have to work in the gas
But the
state.
electrons inside are... Yeah, sorry, it looks like there is a long delay, but the electrons inside are the thing which basically determines the speed of the crystal. So changing the frequency is gonna give you a pretty good idea about the amount of the magnetic field which goes through.
If you're building systems for a matter state, you could be correct. I respect that. And at the same time, we all have our own ways of understanding, and you come from a different background than I do. Maybe you can collaborate with the Chinese and the Canadians, for them to test it in that way. But still, with crystal, you are in a matter state. We need all of it. We need all the matter, as I said, and the rest. But at this moment, we are dealing with the systems which are in a plasmatic condition. We need to measure the property of a plasma with a plasma. Arman has started in the right path, and Evan and JF are going the right way. We've seen a very good development from Mike, but he's disappeared in the background somewhere. I know he's working with the guys in China. But at the same time, I think we should receive some inputs from people from other group in China up to Mr. Hui on the power generation side. And then they come together. There is a bridge somewhere with the low power and a high power technology, which if you understand that difference in plasmatic level, then from the high power you can go directly into plasma, which will deliver in a faster way high powers. That's why I look very much forward to the collaboration with Mr. Hui in China. He understands it, he understands the transmission, and it's just a matter of adding to the knowledge. This is put for matter state. You have to start deciphering as we done in the book number 3 with the colors. And then we get used to colors becoming important. Now we know we see white, we say CO2, we see green, it's a couple of that. We see the other one, we say this green is CH3, that red is blood, this blood. Now we have a vocabulary of 5 or 10 elements. We need to expand this very rapidly. And then our team like Jeff and others who are around the foundation translate the gravitational field into color chart, that we know what we are dealing with and what the state of matter we are in. In deep space, reflection of the light from the galaxies will dictate and tells us what we need to achieve in our systems to be able to where we want to be in that galaxy. Yes, I've seen this somebody says it's a hydrogen GANs.
Yes, that
I
was
have a different opinion about this because I know what it is.
Nicholas
We have. I'm not in the lab. Otherwise, we can show you the way Armor is producing a huge amount of what do you call it? Blood, because the system is built and is replicating it 2 or 3 times. So it's been replicated. It's not just once by accident. The system produces in a condition that huge amounts of blood, like amino acid, hemoglobin, has been created.
Yes, this was Nicholas Chua from Czechoslovakia, I believe. And like you say, he says he believes he's managed to extract hydrogen nanogans. He put the caustic in the Coca-Cola bottle, which he believes extracted atomic hydrogen from the plastic bottle. Since the condition in the bottle would have been in a nanoplasmatic condition, I decided to put 2 copper electrodes, which I nano-coated while they were inside the bottle with used cold caustic mixture. And first I closed the circuit with an LED bulb. This energy extraction created CO2 with enclosed environment of the bottle after a day. Then I decide, instead of extracting energy, to put the energy in with a 3-volt lithium battery in order to push atomic hydrogen, which was captured in the cavities of the nano-coated electrode. This would have been plasmatic energy, since both electrodes, since both electrodes were nano-coated. I rechecked this set after 24 hours and there was red color material, which I conclude it had to be hydrogen GANs as shown in the attached pictures. I'd be more than happy to share this experiment with other knowledge seekers on the next workshop. And he does go on to show some pictures here, which I can just show the basic pictures which he's included, which is the clear.
Yeah, I've seen this one. Yeah.
Okay.
Carry on.
And it just shows the Coca-Cola bottle, and there's eventually it'll come up in the live stream here. You'll see the red color on the bottom of the bottle. Okay, you have a different opinion, Mr. Cash.
The foundation, the institute, will release the address for everything you need to send to us, and we have the systems within coming couple of months to analyze and respond back to you what we've seen. If this is your opinion, we can confirm it. We have the matter tool instruments, what we call matter around the spectroscopies. But in that composition, usually we see the elements' behavior. And if it's a hydrogen, we can detect it and tell you.
I think Nicholas is on the GoToMeeting. Maybe he could just make a couple of comments.
Yes, if we can bring him in.
Any action there, Vince, or is he still on the line?
Sorry?
Is Nicholas Chua still on the line? And can he make
I think he's there. It looks like he's unmuted his mic, but I don't hear anything talking.
Okay.
Anybody talking.
Okay, well, we can wait and maybe...
Can we ask him if he wants to talk?
He should be hearing it directly, but I don't know.
Nicholas, yeah, he's typing in the chat, but Nicholas,
Okay.
Can you talk? Okay, unmute your microphone, please, because we can't hear you. You might also need to change the microphone aspect in your audio section to make sure it matches your actual microphone. Go on. We can just get a couple. Oh, there we go. Yeah, no problem.
Hello, everybody. Good morning.
Hi, Nicholas.
Oh, good evening.
Thank you very much for sharing your knowledge with us.
Thank you, sir. It's my pleasure to do that. So I was hoping maybe to extract atomic hydrogen from this setup as Rick has explained. And maybe you could, since Rick has already presented most of the part of what I did, maybe if you can just add more information on how we can get about in doing that, assuming this was not the right way.
One reason I brought this up is, Mr. Cash, is you started talking about colors being important, and recognizing colors with plasma, and but yet you seem to recognize matter state in this material right away. Can you explain a little bit about that, maybe in relation to your answer?
Rick, are you referring to me?
I was actually referring to Mr. Kesh there, because he mentioned the colors being so important, and we have to learn how to recognize colors, but I think he means more from the plasmatic state rather than the
in a way, yes, but
physical.
let him explain his way. Let us
Okay.
understand his thinking. Maybe we need to add to our knowledge.
Okay, Nicholas, you want to explain a bit more then, or is that what you mean, Mr. Kesh? You could go on a little more about it.
Yeah, carry on.
Okay,
I stay
great.
quiet because you have done a job. You have to explain yourself. That you teach us.
Okay, so my assumption, or what I was expecting, was the acoustic created a low-level ionization in the Coca-Cola bottle, and basically this is the division or extraction of hydrogen from the bottle. And as Rick explained earlier, that when I connect the circuit by putting a bulb on it, an LED bulb, energy was extracted out of it. However, it was not enough to light the bulb. And in doing so, I ended up having white material, which I concluded or assumed to be CO2. Now, I thought about it a little bit, and I figured, well, if this energy extraction creates CO2, what if we put a little bit of energy into this nano-coated copper electrode? From my understanding of the nano layers, what we have is cavities which hold the energy between the nano atoms, so between nanoparticles, which are on the layer, which are on the nano-coated electrodes. So by injecting a little bit of energy there, it means we'll be able to push whatever the energy which is being held within these cavities of the nano layers out into the salt water. And as such, since it's in gas form, it should manifest itself in that spectrum of the size of the nano cavities. And assuming the only gas which we have in that Coca-Cola bottle is hydrogen, in a way, therefore, as this energy is pushed into the salt water, it should manifest itself in a red. It should manifest itself in either ultraviolet red or red, which is spectrum of hydrogen. So I was expecting, my assumption was, at least what I was expecting is to see completely red material in there. And that would have been a confirmation to me that what we have is in some way an hydrogen element, organs. Of course, we do have the spectrum of hydrogen from violet red into red. And from my observation into this color, which I saw, gave me confidence that this had to be an hydrogen. Otherwise, if it had been a different color, then I would have been hesitated in saying this was an hydrogen. But I could be wrong. It's possible. I mean, I'm also learning here just like everybody else, and I cannot be 100% sure unless we have tested this. But my assumption is based on the color, as it's been mentioned that colors explain or give us at least a confirmation of what we have, and this is how I see it, or how I saw it up to this point. I could be wrong, but I'll be more than happy to hear more from other.
Maybe to me as a layman, you make sense. It makes a lot of sense. In a way, I think it'll be good to go one step further. You have used copper electrodes. Am I correct?
Yes, you're correct. I did use copper electrode for that. And both of them were nano-coated.
They're nano-coated, right?
Okay.
Nano-coated.
Not nano-coated.
Okay. Maybe use, let's say, copper and zinc. Then use different materials and do the same process in reverse and see if in every position, because the hydrogen has to be captured inside the layer, as is your assumption. And if you see red, this color red, in 3 or 4 tests, you're 100% correct. I think you should be correct. But there is a factor in the structure that makes sure you use the same caustic, the same, what do you call it, kind of bottles in the same environment at the same time. If your material is pure or it has got a mixture, what mixture is in it? This color we see a lot. I have, I can show you bottles of it. It has been my thought that as there is nothing in the container except water, how do I get to this position? There's plastic, all of them transparent. We have water and we have the plastic chemical binding. In the tests which we did in a 1 cubic meter containment in SCK in Belgium a few years ago, where we introduced CO2 only. The room was vacuumed totally, and then CO2 was injected into the box. When the scientists scratched all the black stuff off the electrode, and then was put through a spectroscopy, and at the same time burning the material at the high degrees to get the flare colors, we did not observe any hydrogen. I've published a report sometime in the past, if I remember correctly, is 5 or 8% of we observe carbon in conjunction, in some places, in conjunction with as a CO2. So scientific data which I have seen, and I was in the lab when these tests were done at SEK, unless it's been not presented in the report, we do not see residue of hydrogen. But in part of the Raman spectroscopy figures we see, which is done on the same electrodes, we see behavior, fingerprint of hydrogen in some. If you can extract this material and send it to us here in the university in the next couple of months, once we have the systems, then we can analyze it. I am
sure. I will do more testing as you have suggested, and send it to the
But yeah, let us know. What is important is, if this is a captures hydrogen, it's a large quantity of it. It's a huge amount of hydrogen captured. Secondly, have you lost the head of your corpus screw, the screw on the top? Has it dissolved yet? You know where you have the cap.
It did not dissolve, but I have cracked all over on the top side and the bottom as well. But what I did is I tried to glue these parts with the plastic glue to hold them in place.
Oh, you've done what I've done. But in time, you have to see. Don't touch anything, but let the process go on, and see if your what you assume to be hydrogen increases. The problem is the process will most probably should or maybe stops, because the cracks you've seen, they start eating into the plastic. What happens in the gravitational magnetic field you create in the container creates a gravitational magnetic field of carbon, and then they get attracted. If you have sealed your system totally, you are going to have a hard time, or it'll be a slow process with the oxygen to match up with the carbon to make that white stuff CO2 in the container, because you need the oxygen to be able to make that CO2. And in that process, when you break the bond, hydrogen will have to be released and then be added to this. Maybe you have to make a hole in your future systems where you can add a small amount of oxygen to allow the CO2 chain to take effect. And then you have to measure your water level inside, that the hydrogen does not become a water, H2O, in the plasmatic condition. You got to remember something which we touched in the medical and the health side. Because you made the GANs in this tube, the minute the oxygen enters the Coca-Cola bottle, it will not behave as a matter anymore, it will behave as a GANs. So in behaving as a GANs with a free hydrogen, you will create H2O. It's a pitfall, it's a double-sided knife, it cuts both ways. And then you have to see if you can capture the carbons, then you can, you can change the, you can absorb or at least make a gas of hydrogen.
I think the boat actually was completely cracked a few days ago, and I had to dismantle it because the water was already leaking out. So I have set up another.
I've been there, I know.
So I've set up another set which is already in nano coating process, and I'm waiting for it to be ready before I can make another test.
Yeah, one of the best ways is to try to make as much as possible thick coating. You'll find out if you put these cracked heads of the Coca-Cola bottle, which are in pieces, in the caustic, there'll be no difference in them, they will not change. But if you keep them hanging in the air somewhere, you'll find you produce a lot of hydrogen. To produce atomic hydrogen in this layer, you've done it different way than I've done it. What I did in my setups, I see you showed buckets in the background. I made a hole, sealed hole on top of the Coca-Cola bottle, the way it's flat. On the assumption that the hydrogen is the lightest and floats to the top, I've made tank levels on top of the Coca-Cola bottle for you. I could hold CO2 in one and hydrogen in the other. And if you nano-code your containers, again, as the hydrogen transfers through the channel to the top, it stays atomic. And to produce atomic hydrogen in this way, cost Americans, as I always say, about 20 billion to make atomic hydrogen bomb. You have, if you can measure it and confirm it, then I agree with you, you have achieved a point, but this is a composite. It's the isotope composite. But if you send it in the university, we check and we tell you. Because it has to be exactly correct that it's done. But if you follow the way I did, I then use that atomic hydrogen captured that way for the Iranian nuclear reactors for the applied system. I don't know if you go back to some of the talks I've given before. I explained that when I was in Tehran, we couldn't get the right. Somehow works with Coca-Cola bottle. It's the way it's manufactured at a point of twist in the top and the bottom, which does this. And I spoke with this material specialist in Tehran, and they explained to me how it is and what's called. So we asked Caroline to go around and find as many Coca-Cola bottles as she could, cut the top, crush the heads, and send it to us. And her job was going around the restaurants and cafes just finding Coca-Cola heads. And we received, I think, about half a kilo of it in Tehran. I still got them somewhere. By soaking it in caustic, it will be a very slow process if you achieve. But if you hang it in the environment of the Coca-Cola bottle, you can create. You have to look that the head where it cracked is not in the liquid. It's in a vacuum condition of the magnetic gravitational field of a nano-coated Coca-Cola bottle. The structure which you create, you might see some CO2 increasing. This means you have hole in your setup where it's sucking air in and using the oxygen. And then one of the conditions you will see, it will be production of amino acids in what I call in the level of beetroot. This is why you need to get a clarification. Part of this is how fruits and vegetables gain their colors in a combination of different amino acids with matters, because you cannot have any element without an amino acid, which is edible, what we call agricultural goods. If you have a matter like iron or copper, it's different. So it's good to develop this further and enlighten us. Thank you very much for the knowledge. But I have plenty of this in my system, and I think I showed it in one of the what do you call it, presentations in the small containers. You have to establish how much hydrogen you can release, and you have forced, you think, the hydrogen from the nanolayers into the container. But in fact, what I think you've done, because as I explained to you in the research, in the test which was done in the SDK in Belgium, we do not see atomic hydrogen in any of the layers of the nanomaterial when it was scratched and burned. We made a lot of electrodes and then we scratched them to confirm this, if there is atomic, because they were interested to see what is composition and other things. I've got to find a report, it's in the archive somewhere. 5 or 8% we see CO2 captured in the layers, but we don't see an indication of the hydrogen. If you have managed to create hydrogen, the way you explain, you have created the environment that the hydrogens which are released from the wall of the plastic in the interaction with caustic have not left the environment, and you have managed to reverse them back into a gas state. Very much the way we've seen with the, I think it was Eric or somebody else, who showed us that they connected the plate to the electric current and they created nano layers. Because the hydrogen is in the atomic structure, not a molecular structure, you have managed to, with creating with the current through, you have created the environment in the container, which is allowed through the moisture for the hydrogen to become in a gas state, but is connected to something else, or is in a molecular plasmatic condition of hydrogen, which what you see is H2, not atomic hydrogen. The current flow is very much like what Arman has done, putting current into 2 electrodes, and then we start seeing different things. I'm pretty sure you have a combination of amino acid in there. First of all, you had a hole, which when you have a hole, you extract whatever is in the environment, which means amino acid has entered. Somewhere you have created a condition which is linked up with the amino acid with the extra hydrogen. There's a possibility. But have a look at it, because I've seen this for a long time. But it's very nice.
Thank you.
It's a genius what you've done. It's a very, it's very much in a way of extending the knowledge. But have you used any soldering anywhere in your system?
No.
Have you? Did you touch the wires before you put them in? Or did you wear
No.
gloves?
No, the wires when I put the wire at the beginning, they were not coated at all. And the coating was done when the wire were already connected to the bottle itself. So first I inserted the wire into the bottle.
Can we understand the process, if you can enlighten us? You put the electrodes in. You put the electrodes in.
So
you put caustic in,
I
and
put
then put water in.
Yeah, I put the electrode in first and seal them with glue.
Yeah.
And then I introduced a caustic which was already used in nano-coating process.
Plastic.
Yeah,
cold.
It was cold.
Yeah.
So I introduced this cold caustic into the bottle and left it there for some time. And the wires, the electrode got coated while they were inside the Coca-Cola bottle itself. And then I extract
Can you enlighten us in a different way?
Yes.
You brought the cold caustic. How did you make the cold caustic? Where was it? How was it?
The cold. I had set up a plastic container similar to the one which has the set to nano-coat some copper wires. And in this process, I did extract some of the the caustic water which I had used for this nano-coating process. So I took this caustic which I had used to nano-coat other copper wires and kept it.
What instrument did you use to take it from one to another? You just poured it in, or?
I did normally just like how it has been shown by the Keshe Foundation how to make the nano coating wire with the caustic. So I did the same thing.
When it was cold, how did you take it from the last container to this container?
I poured it into one container where I preserved it, and when I wanted to use it, I simply poured it from this container into the plastic. Yes.
Okay, I think what you got, try just to eliminate everything possible, yeah? Make a caustic in a Coca-Cola bottle without any electrodes in it, let it cool, and then use it as a base, that you have no other elements in it.
Okay.
Because there is I've done this because I've been through this process in different times, and then I had to go backwards to find out where I've introduced a foreign entity in. This way you eliminate everything. Make a caustic, let it go cold in a Coca-Cola bottle, and then pour it directly into where you've done the same experiment. That you have no, because even though you buy copper, you can have other residual in it. This way you don't have any other contamination. And then repeat this with different electrodes, and then use the reverse. You create atomic hydrogen. I've done that with Arman. The first months he was here, he was playing with this, and I just went, telling him not to do this because the gases you are releasing are extremely dangerous. Arman can tell you. the process is now we see these gases in the lab. I just release them by poking at them. We are creating gas structures now in the lab. I tried to take a picture of it before I dismantle it, but we can repeat it again. We have actually like bone structures. We have physical structures. We were poking it with Marco the other day when we disconnect the electricity, and you get gases coming out of it. It's a physical structure. It shows how body of the man became from a gas to physicality. It's the same container as we had the blood in with the copper oxide. Now we have due to passing of the current in the container, now we have physical structures. And then you can feed it. It's like muscles, like bones. So this is because there are other elements in the copper plates. If you make sure what you get is 100% copper wires, and then there is no iron contamination in it. Doesn't matter how. One of the things I used to do is, before I use the Coca-Cola bottles, make sure nobody has drank from them. It hasn't been consumed by...
This one we are completely unused.
Okay. What do you mean unused? You got an empty Coca-Cola bottle from the factory?
No. I bought the Coca-Cola. I bought the drink as usual and simply open it and pour the drink out, and used as it was.
Okay. What to do to be... this is what I did, because trying to eliminate this, I bought industrial alcohol and I washed inside the, what do you call it, inside the container, then rinsed it with water, pure water, and then introduced the caustic. The heat of caustic destroys most of the germs, but in fact it will not change the structure of the amino acid because it comes back together again. If there is any fat or whatever from the air, you will get it. Then if you have that and you have an iron composition on your plate or in your wire, every single atom of iron will become a sphere of gas, then you get a different colors in it. Then you eliminate all these things, and then if you still get the same process on the reversal with no iron, with no contamination, closed sealed doors with a cap, with different materials, then we can take it a step further in the creation of the atomic hydrogen. It's very nice the way you've done it. If I could walk to the lab, everything is packed, I could show you exactly what I have. It's very much similar to what you have. I assume this to be, but one of the reasons I have refused to accept it is I assume that there will be some hydrogen absorption in the nanolayer. The nanolayer structure does not allow hydrogen absorption, or at least what we've seen in the test, in a physical test of burning, because the process was used is they put in a furnace and they pass 1200 degrees. It's exactly 1200, I don't know what digits, and then they say this is the point where the carbon bursts, and then they go for the hydrogen. You see from the colors, each one they reach the temperature. And we have not seen any hydrogen, because that was a concern for the Belgium nuclear, if I have managed to create atomic hydrogen for weapon technology to be used by the Iranians, and that's why they put a lot of tags on it. But I totally extract the hydrogen in a different way from the top of the container.
Okay.
One of the ways, One of the ways you can do the same thing instead of creating extra or external power to it, try to use like 4 or 5 different electrodes. The shape of Coca-Cola bottle is very important. The dip in the neck or just after the neck, and then it grows back again, small Coca-Cola bottles we use, gives you different environmental condition. You find out you lose the cap, the thread section very quickly with those because of different compression plasmatic field it creates. Because once you put a caustic, your Coca-Cola bottle is already nano-coated, so you're dealing with like a throat of a man. Even though it's a matter of going through it, it's still in the magnetic field environment. Use a small Coca-Cola bottles, if you can, instead of the big one, to see if there is any difference. And then try to make sure that there is no air seepage into the system. What I used to do, I used to suck it. It's the only way you can do it. And you see if there is any hole. And then I used to put more glue on. But without a doubt, within 24 hours, you start getting seepage in. Even from the plastic which you put on. Hot glue you put on. The scientists in the SCK, they came up with a different way. They drilled a hole and they put sealed valve sealed system, that it wasn't done with the glue. So it was total, no material interaction with the side of the body of the container, or possibility of the glues to open up air interaction in. You don't have that kind of facilities, but you have to consider everything. And maybe the easiest way to create atomic hydrogen is through extracting it through the top of Adam. We learn from you and enlighten us. It's a beautiful way you're doing it, but test a few and send it to us how you've done the process. We have the Raman structure systems coming in infrared factory. We've got the furnaces which are coming in. We can go through the whole process with you.
Sure, I will do that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is so many ways come to the foundation and do the test yourself.
I will.
Perhaps you should apply for being a student at the university.
Maybe we can arrange live testing while they're doing the testing on the Raman spectroscopy and the rest. It can be broadcasted live on the live streams. That everybody can learn something from it. I think the openness of the institute will frighten a lot of governments and research establishments. Okay, anything else?
If we could get back briefly to Armin's device, I see that Evans has a question where he says, I measured the potential difference between the electrodes in the GANs and the outer coil. Can that be explained by a kind of GANs magnetic coupling between the outer wire and the electrode inside the GANs? Is the GANs a magnetic flux conductor?
Current, yes. Not potential difference. And then if you have it in your nano layers, yes. You call it a flux, we call it the plasmatic current flow.
Okay, I wonder, Evans, does that answer your question adequately?
No. Evans is never happy.
Well, perhaps he can elaborate a bit and we can extend that.
No, I'm always happy when I hear you, Mr. Cash. Always. Yes, the question was, can the potential difference measured? It was about 300 volts between the outer wire and any electrode inside the GANs. So I was wondering how to explain that, since there is no contact at all between the outer wire and the rest of the system.
How much was the voltage again? Sorry.
300 millivolts.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Was it? You can repeat it, and it's there all the time.
Always.
Okay. Ask yourself a simple question. You have to go back in your pre-schizophrenic after you understood the GANs.
Okay.
If you understand what I mean. The potential difference you detect in an electron level or a flow level as electron level is gravitational magnetic fields which have reduced in strength to become matter level that you can detect it with your systems. And the rate of the exchange is constant. And the potential difference then. What is your current reading?
A few microamps, like something like 20 to 30 microamps.
Yeah. So what you're doing, it's literally creating a packing order, which has become constant. And you're measuring between the outer pack and inner pack. But in the plasmatic level, which part of this plasmatic energy is at the level of the electron vibration which you detected, and you can read as a potential difference. And if you have a current, it shows itself as a current vibration. But in fact, it's a plasmatic flow which is compacting itself. If you test your material, it should show zero resistance or near zero resistance as a superconductor.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Okay. And the second question was: can the GANs be used as a magnetic flux conductor, like just a core?
Of course, it is. That's what GANs is. That's why you extract CO2 from there or amino acid.
So actually, I understand that it would have much less losses than any of the matter core.
You have zero losses.
That's why it works so good inside our bodies, probably.
Yeah, you have a zero losses because there is no vibration. Losses comes when there is a very, very little loss, if any. The losses is to the environments, other objects, gravitational magnetic fields, which have the same strength or similar to the same strength. This is why the gas materials, we say that the conductors now in the lab, we have managed to make a matter superconductor. I'll try to show it to you, try to preserve as much as possible.
Okay.
Maybe we give you some of the material to take back and see what you can. There is a part of this is part of the work at the moment. Sorry about that. Let's expand on this just a little bit. This is a part of the work now we are doing for in respect to Fukushima. You need to create a condition of the matters that can be used, that they can convert the field and radiation into matter level through plasma, because matters at these temperatures, at high temperatures, cannot be contained. So the only conversion of the energy from the high temperature, high radiation is through gas materials, to be done in a specific way, which we have advised the Japanese government what to do in Fukushima.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, I see your workshop. Very nice. This is how new technology is. They see your computer, they see your detectors. It's amazing. Thank you very much for your openness. It's cleaner than our lab, but it's not that bad.
Yes, it shows men at work.
Men at work, yeah. Very nice work. I like your three-legged, what do you call it, Red Sox people.
Yeah, they're kind of cute little sensors, aren't they?
It is. Try to go back into the GANs level and work with them. You'll find a lot of pleasure.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
Yes, Mr. Kesh, it's at the 3-hour mark here or so.
Okay. Let us explain to you what it is that we have agreed to do with the Keshe Foundation University team. We are proud, I'm very proud, as somebody who just been a facilitator, to announce the opening of the Keshe Foundation. Today, the university team will show the video of the made for promotion of the courses in the university. We are waiting for the website to be uploaded, which goes on our server of the Spaceship Institute. It's all been done. It's waiting for it to be done, the last part of it. I'm totally ignorant to this part of the technology. So in a simple way, we announced the opening of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute in conjunction with Loom University, and we have agreed with both with Loom and Keshe Foundation, and the video has been edited so many times. A lot of work has been done, about 3-4 weeks now, to have it ready, and I leave it to the people who've done the work. I congratulate you, and this is, in fact, from now, we announced the opening of the Keshe Foundation Space Institute. I leave to your team, Vince and Rick and Jeff, that you can carry on with it. This is the opening of our institute, and from today, once the servers accept the load up, you can apply directly and everything will be responded to immediately. Go ahead, Rick, and it's your baby.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh. I can show the video here that is one of the end results of the efforts that the team has made in the past weeks. And this is a promotional video for the new university, which has got the name of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, and it's in partnership with another university in Italy, the Loom University, and so on. And so the video is pretty self-explanatory. We'll leave the sound on, and it's Vince who will be speaking in the video. He does the voiceover, and Jeff did the video itself, putting all the panels together, and many of us have made suggestions and so on. Wolf had a lot to do with it, and Sandor and others have all contributed. So, without further ado, let's play the video and see if we can have a look at that.
Where does humanity go from here? What have we tried to do? What if there is more, much more? The Keshe Foundation is proud to announce a new way to bring humanity forward through technology that brings humanity in line with the natural operation of the planet and universe itself. The new science and technology discovered and developed by the nuclear engineer Moran Keshe centers upon the use and control of magnetical gravitational fields. This new body of knowledge opens the road to hundreds of potential applications, which offer solutions to most of the fundamental problems of the world, such as water, food, environmental contamination, and shortages of energy. The Keshe Foundation is proud to unveil the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Nestled amidst the beautiful shores of Bari, Italy, the Institute is poised to become a central hub in the spreading of plasma technology and knowledge. With its state-of-the-art 21st century facilities, the Institute will be able to provide students and staff an immersive way to learn the plasma technology, to be the leaders of the new generation of scientists and plasma engineers. The Keshe Foundation has opened the door to the world for peaceful usage of technology that is independent of the limited resources that are available on Earth. This is an understanding of how everything works together in harmony in our universe, and it applies to everything from the smallest to the biggest, from atoms to galaxies. We all are able to collectively work together in pursuit of knowledge, innovation, and solutions for our society. This learning environment is new to the world, where there will be no test to confirm your understanding. The knowledge of everyone will be respected and allowed to flourish in a nurturing environment. Hands-on testing and experimenting will be widely used in conjunction with roundtable discussions to bring all opinions and knowledge forward. Students will be introduced to a change in the ethos of working in collaboration. Students will experience firsthand how we share knowledge in a free and open manner. Graduating students are expected to share the knowledge they gain from the university within their respective communities and nations. All formal teachings, lectures, and presentations will be in the English language, with technology available for immediate translation. Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will be offering 3-year executive master programs for undergraduate degree students and 1-year executive master programs for graduate degree students in the following fields: space transportation, new plasma technology, health, agriculture, materials, energy. The health section is designed to make students able to live in space without the need to return to Earth. To this end, the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute has found processes for many diseases including ALS, cancer, coma, epilepsy, multiple sclerosis. Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will offer online teaching courses which will enable anyone, anywhere around the world to enroll and increase their knowledge and understanding. Students will have the opportunity to direct their work towards commercial spin-offs and seek funding through the help of the Keshe Foundation. The access to the new science and new technologies is openly available for peaceful use to the benefit of mankind to make a better world today. Now you can be part of the changing world and the new knowledge. All commercial spin-offs are intended to be open source and patent-free. This is part of the core ethos of the Keshe Foundation and the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will have its official inauguration on April 21st, 2015, with courses commencing soon after, on May 4th, 2015. The students of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will be the leaders of the future who will make changes in all areas of space technology, science, medicine, agriculture, and energy. Anyone is able to apply, but acceptance is through invitation only. No prerequisites are required. We will be accepting approximately 250 students for the 3-year Executive Master's Program and 120 students for the 1-year Executive Master's Program. We welcome humanity's participation in the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Where does humanity go from here? That is up to you. Apply today.
Okay, so there we have it for the, that was the video for the promotion video. And is there anything that anybody would like to say about that, Vince or Jeff or anybody else?
Yeah, sure. I just want to thank everybody for the well wishes on live stream there. It turned out to be a really good video. I'm really proud of that one.
Yeah, it's a lovely job, I'd say. I'm a little partial to it and biased, perhaps, but I think it's a nice piece of work. It hits the heartstrings somewhat there, and I know I felt like heading off to the Spaceship Institute when I saw that video. It seemed like, all right, it's a good thing, and it's happening basically. So. Now,
so I just wanted to also let people know that the website will be up at some point here in the next day or so that the address that you've seen on the screen there is correct, and we'll go to the website, which will be completed here in the next couple of days.
And
can we have a view of the website, please?
Yeah, let me bring that up here. Find it.
We will announce the upcoming upload of the websites the minute it's completed on the servers, on the forum of the Keshe Foundation, and a link will be on the front page of the website of the foundation and the university simultaneously.
Okay, just getting the website. Don't show what, Amarok? Right.
What are you supposed to show?
Yeah, we're okay. So yeah, we have it just should be coming up on the live stream here any second. Well, it's a long lag on the live stream, so it's slowly coming around here. And I'll scroll. You can see okay, it's just starting to come up there now, just getting it set up. This is the opening page of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute website that's been set up. You have your usual home and about and curriculum and apply and links, connections there that can be seen, as well as the video that we just saw is available to see on that front page. There's a button for apply today, and a couple of other things, such as a little saying from Mr. Keshe, one of my favorite sayings: we replicate the same technology as the universe, from Mr. Keshe. And the KFSSI mission statement: to share the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation for peaceful purposes and to expand mankind's knowledge for use in space. That's what we came up with for now. And if we do click on the apply today part, then that goes through to the student application form, which people can fill out if they like to apply to become a student at the Spaceship Institute. And it's got quite a few questions there which can be filled out, and that goes through into a database to be able to assess whether the person will be accepted into the university and so on. And there's the curriculum will show the different courses that are available, and settle out some of the questions that people might have about the different programs and so on, and the schedule for it. All that information is on that page. And then we see on the About page, it's about the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, with more about the vision and mission. A few more pictures. We can see the picture of the building itself. Let me zero in on that a bit, so you can just sort of see what the physicality of the building looks like. And so on. So we've got, and then there's a section for links with, sorry, I have to expand out here. A section with links with all kinds of information and links from the Keshe Foundation, including all the workshops are linked there, and Knowledge Seekers workshops, health, kids, Chinese, Spanish, etc. And that's about it on the main site right now, I think. Did I miss anything there, Vince, that we should speak about? Or
no, that sounds good. Just to also let people know, we'll post in the forums when the website is up, or you can just keep checking back to see when it changes.
Right, so that's a good point. We don't actually, it's not actually available to click on and get into right now, but it should be, what, within a day, you figure, Vince? Is that true?
Yeah, within a day, let's say that.
Right, now we had a question in the chat. How is it with the providing of the living space for the students? Perhaps Mr. Keshe could answer a bit about that, or do you want to, Vince?
There is a problem.
I think we should let Armin answer that.
Yeah, or Mr. House something. Yeah, we've been in a way. We are all going to marry next week. Still house hunting. The problem is not the accommodation. The problem is the language with the Italians, state agents. There are a lot of accommodations available within 10-15 kilometers around the institute. The problem is that we have, and we start bringing English-speaking liaison to sort this matter out. There is no shortage of facilities. Accommodation is about between 400 to 600 euro, depending on what you are, where you are. If you have a car, or if you don't have a car. Strange enough, the bus stop or the end of the bus route is literally in the back garden of the university. So you can come to the institute up and down. The accommodation is furnished and unfurnished, but we by the time you arrive, the foundation and the university will put a structure that you can get accommodation in a very easy way. It's been hard. We learned a lot. Now we've asked the English-speaking state agent to collaborate to bring everything together between other state agents. There is a problem in the Italian community as a whole, that there is a very deep recession, and nobody is moving and nobody is buying or selling. So it's an accommodation freeze in a way. And in that accommodation freeze, there are a lot of people who have the accommodation, but if we are in the marble industry zone, when you arrive, you will see most of the marbles you buy around the world. From Italy, most of it comes within kilometers. Actually, next door to the university is all marble factories. So that will be one of the things. The accommodation is plenty. It's just that we had to organize and find out the difficulties with it. So by the time next couple of weeks, accommodation will be sorted once we are there physically with the estate agents who can speak English and can deliver.
Great, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Is there anything else you'd like to mention?
Armin and Marco can give you a lot of insight into it. It's frustrating.
Okay. I was wondering if there's anything else you'd like to add to the about the university or anything else. We are up to 3.5 hours now. Maybe we should settle out there.
I think it's important. This is a huge step for the foundation and humanity that we spread the knowledge this way. We accept all the criticism. It's a departure from what was in the structure of the work, but it's a huge leap. And I think the caliber of people we accept, hopefully the people who've been put in charge of accepting or refusing the applications will look for, is people who can add to the knowledge with their science. Yes, this says, it's a new circle, KFSSI, Keshe Foundation Space Institute. That's what it is. And it will not be limited to Bari. Arman is making moves to establish KFSSI US. I've asked the Chinese if they can start a procedure. Hopefully we have people who can start a KS in China. And in time, we will have one in Sierra Leone, hopefully in South University in time, in the next 6 months, 12 months. The SSI, all the applications worldwide will come to the SSI, to the Keshe Foundation, and then the distribution will be done according to the position. We try to keep a good mixture of everybody around as the time and the price comes. There is a huge pressure, extremely huge pressure from the Italian community, because there are a lot of scientists in Italy who have lost their jobs, but they want to start a new cycle. There are professors, there are doctors, there are leading scientists who are trying to encourage us, let's put it that way, to run Italian classes simultaneously. And we are looking into this. There's an estimate between 200 to 300 of these scientists at the moment waiting to join the Keshe Foundation in different levels. But we have to see. We put a limit at 125, and we have to see how it turns up. If we are happy with very, very much smaller than that to start with. But on the other hand, we are prepared to see and extend it to be able to work within the structure of the Italian community and teaching. In the past week, we have been offered by a huge closed down university, which can carry total. It's amazing what is coming to the foundation. This university has its labs, its workshops, everything just locked down, and it's all available, and it's come to us in a very very beautiful way. If we need be, we can extend directly into this university and extend the numbers to teach in hundreds. We are inspecting this building sometime early next week, and it's open for the foundation to move in, and we carry the title of the university directly from the beginning once we accept the position. So there is a lot happening, but it's thanks a lot to do with the Italian community here who have made this possible. It's thanks to the what I call the financiers and the people in Italian community at the highest level who wanted this technology to be part of the Italian culture and institution. And they've seen it through in a very easy way. We thank them all, especially the owners and the facilitators of the properties and everything else which goes with it. A lot of thanks goes to Professor Luzzi, who is a co-director of the university with me. And then we have to extend the same into other countries. If you see facilities that you can run a university to teach your people without them coming here, we are foreseeing linkage directly to universities. So it means people in the universities can live join us in lectures. We had a professor from Bulgaria here last week, and from Sofia University, two of them, and they were explaining exactly how we see to collaborate, like with Sofia directly without students moving. But that is a lot of agreements has to be reached internally by the university. Outdoors are open.
Mr. Kesh, in relation to that, how would it work in terms of online teaching? Would there be more or less private online teaching for just students, and then would there be a public teaching besides that, or would it all be public online, or will it be only specifically for students?
We're trying to. The problem is we have shot ourselves in the foot, as I say. The way we shot ourselves in the foot is that we are teaching the structure of the Thursday morning teachings like now and Tuesday afternoon teachings has been built into the timetable of the university, which means on Thursday mornings we start at 8 o'clock the institute program, and the students are part of the teaching. So you are in the classroom on Thursdays and Tuesdays. Then it comes in-depth teaching and in a specific type of teaching. We have made arrangement that every teaching in every classroom will be recorded, does not matter who teaches. Then it's a matter of, are we going to put them live online? We have the service, or we think we can add service which can support to do it ourselves. Or we go on the basis of you buy packages of teaching. Or you become a full-time student online. Then the beauty of it is, with a lot of what they call e-teaching, is that you have to submit homeworks, you have to submit work. With this teaching, the way we started, there is no homework to be submitted. There is no examination. Your examination, the way it's set up, is at the end of the year, you have to write down what you learned and how you want to contribute to humanity with what you learned in what way. And that's your thesis. In a way, we make you think in how you're going to serve, not for us. It is a radical teaching, that's why we have called the executive. And that's what it's called, executive master. When you're subordinate, you have to listen. When you're executive, you make decisions yourself. And you make decisions for humanity, and you make decisions for how you want to share life and knowledge with others. The Italian Education Authority has a problem with this, but in the way they see it, and in a way, put it this way, there is such a huge recession that anything at the moment to change and bring prosperity to nations is acceptable. Even such a radical teaching of no examination at the end of the examination. You examine the same as what we say, yourself. So there is no skipping from the lectures and no coffee breaks in the back doors not trying to attend. The only one who will be deprived from it is you. The structure is that, again, the way we always have worked, is that all the universities and structures in Italy start at 8:30 latest, and they go till 2 o'clock. I don't believe in this kind of work because if you attend, as I always say, 8 o'clock at the university, and you have to buy bread, and you have to pay your electricity, and you have to do something else, you sit in the lecture rooms. But your thought is, oh, how am I going to pay my electricity so it's disconnected tonight, or I need the telephone, I have no bread. So this is how I run all my business internationally for years. We start at 10 o'clock, which means you have enough time to do everything every day. You come to learn and to teach. You come to contribute to humanity. We don't bring people here to torture them for them to serve. We've got to change the ethos that from the beginning there is peace. Peace of mind in learning, peace of mind in living, peace of mind in action. So we start at 10 in the morning, and then you've done all the things you wanted to do. Now we finish at 1 o'clock. And then again, we start at 3 o'clock till 6 o'clock. The university situation is very awkward for the people who want to live a social life, because it's just on the boundary of the outside the city. And at the same time, when they built this building to be used as a university, they have built it with the Italian mentality. In Italian schools, you have no school playtime outside. They don't let you go outside. You come in, you learn, and you go home. Even in the primary schools and basic schools where my child goes, the school time, playtime is more or less non-existent unless the teacher feels generous. So they build their structures this way. There is no canteen food that you can, integrate. So we have to change a lot of things in this structure, and we see it. So there's a lot we have to learn, and there's a lot we have to teach to change the working. We try to make it as friendly as possible. At the same time, the building is big enough to allow for such a change. Anybody who comes in is welcome. We have make it not to be unofficially that it comes. We will not allow no Belgian citizen to be coming through the gates of the university or institute until the matter with the foundation and the Belgian government is settled. The situation is well known. The poisoning of me and my wife has forced us to that position. We respect all the Belgian citizens and nationals, but we have to, at the same time, we monitor everybody who's here. When you're here, all your activities are monitored through securities. The close contact, which was with the SSI students, will not take place. In a way, it's being forced on us, and so we respond. There are certain other nationalities which we watch very clearly and carefully due to the other effects, which is the byproduct of their action. Please, if you're a Belgian, we do not refuse you. It's not disrespect. It's at least having a teacher that you can teach and the knowledge can be transferred, not being in a coffin. I've asked the people who control the applications, be aware of this. We check everything. There's a structure set up for security checking, and then we check with the national governments in that respect. And we monitor the way you're financed, we monitor the way who's financing you, we monitor the way who you interact and you live with, that you're safe to. It's our responsibility. It's a family, and the family looks after everything, not the individual. The structure is extremely simple. You come not to learn, but you come to learn and teach. Those who can participate in teaching and they can express knowledge in teaching will be paid for your teaching. The standard rate of teaching in Italy for a professor or a teacher at the university level is between 2,000 to 3,000 euro per month as a full-time. And when you translate that to the hours of teaching, it's around about 22 euros per hour. We made a deliberate structure that the lecturers all will be paid at 40 euro an hour, that they don't need to look where there is a next job or how they can live home. And this was an opposition by people who are around. You don't pay 40 euro an hour to doctors here, it's not known. But we pay the same level that across the world, wherever you are in cash condition in America, here in China, you all can live a near comfortable life, or maybe depends where you are, more comfortable life. Everything to details we are working out that is there and it's done. People who come with children to be here, you don't need to leave the family to suffer. We've seen that suffering with number of, knowledge seekers like Armin. We try to allow a facility that you can come in with a family, and the schools facilities are there for your children in different ways. like international school. These all takes next 12 months to set up. Caroline is looking after that because we have a child, we know exactly where we are, and we don't want you in that position. On the other hand, we have to look at the totality of the expansion of the knowledge rapidly between government and institutes and universities. So if you are a member of a university and you want to bring the teaching of the university into your university from the institute, you can contact us, and then we make facilities that you have a live sessions into agreements with us from the classrooms, which means while we teach you, your students who want to be adopted in the undergraduate or postgraduate can learn in the classrooms the sessions you want them to learn. We learn. We will most probably fail in a lot of places, but hopefully at the end the fruit will be nice. We will be managed to serve humanity in the correct way. Any questions?
I don't see any questions right now. I'm sure people will have lots of questions once they start looking at the website and so on.
Yeah, the thing is, apply, please, if you are coming in. I know that a lot of people have sent application forms to SSI. Resend your application form to the new section because it's a totally different structure. We try to send those emails to the team for them to answer you, or we send you an email to tell you to submit your application to the SSI again through the right channels. We start promoting the institute from Monday of next week, heavily around the universities and the governments which work with the foundation. And if you want to take it to your governments for students to be here, not for your nation to fall behind, please do so. But know the condition that you have to teach while you are here, as the other knowledge seekers did.
Okay, there's one other small item before we conclude here, which is the most important thing, which was the winner of the t-shirt selection contest is the one for the blue and white t-shirt was the most preferred, the most favorite one, which I've got up on the live stream here. It'll be coming through any second. You can see the picture of it. I'll make it blown up a little bit, and it's a pretty handsome looking t-shirt there with the KF logo on it and so on, and it's looking really good. So that was the winner of the, there it is on the live stream there now. That was the winner of our little contest we had to find out people's, not a contest really, just a poll to get the preference. And we hope to be doing more polls like that to get people's opinions and preferences for things, and that'll help make decisions at the other end, I think.
I think this is very much men-orientated voting in the color.
Perhaps, yeah. I think the second one was the blue one, which I'll also put up here, which is very nice as well. It would probably look better in a group picture, the blue one, I think, compared to the dark blue and white one. In any case, they're quite handsome t-shirts, and I expect these will be available in the Keshe Foundation store, which will be part of the website soon.
Yeah, there are other items which is getting worked out what to be for the institute, and anybody who applies, you got to make sure you have the right visa to be here, that you don't come here as a tourist and then trying to search for a visa. European and Italian laws does not allow to change application while you're here. Yeah, it says caps. Caps will come soon as well. There's a lot of things, work was done in the background in respect to everything else. There are different people organizing different things.
I'm looking forward to the working model of the flying saucer. The miniature working model, right? You got that coming up too?
Yes, so we'll see. We might have a UFO flag to it as well, huh? We'll see it. We'll see what happens. But this is the beginning of a setting of a teaching criterion and ethos for humanity. Let's see how far we can go and how much we can teach. We'll see. We hopefully when the website goes up, we announce it, we publish it, and it's for you to spread the video as best as possible through your emails and the rest of it, and whatever you have on the Facebooks and the rest. We see what we go and how we go with this, and how we can develop it in a high level.
Okay, I think that wraps it up for today, unless you have anything else you'd like to add.
No, we speak about the leadership next time. I think we had enough for today.
That was the thing we forgot.
Yeah. We have rattled enough cages today without rattling that cage.
Yes, exactly. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kesh. Another great presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all the participants. It was very nice from everyone. We'll see you next Tuesday teaching.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Kesh.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye for now. Okay, everybody, that's the end of the 53rd Kesh Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And once again, thank you, everybody, for attending.